David, there's a lot to...
That's amazingly true.
There's a lot to digest here, okay? So the statement talks about winning a championship. Right. We don't know if the Lakers are a championship-level team. Perk said he's not going anywhere. Wendy said it's unlikely that he's not going anywhere. Your reaction to Rich Paul?
Yeah, this is the LeBron, Rich Paul playbook that they've used for his entire career, even before the NBA. I mean, LeBron determines what happens ever since high school, right? And now the playbook is the same, but the game has changed, right? LeBron does not have the leverage that he once had. LeBron and Rich Paul love keeping their organizations on their toes, making them feel like they constantly have to work and add free agents to do whatever they can to win a championship on his watch in his window. The problem is that window isn't there anymore. They're building around Luka. LeBron and Rich Paul, for as long as he's been in the league, tells franchises to jump, and they traditionally say how high. Now with the Lakers, they have to say, we're going to check with Luka first before we see how high we jump. LeBron is unfamiliar for him, and that unfamiliarity creates some of that awkward language that we saw from Rich Paul. They're navigating a new reality that they haven't had to deal with before.
Wendy, technically, LeBron has been traded one time in his career in a sign-and trade from Cleveland to Miami. That's very technical. In reality, he has never actually asked out. Is this the closest we've ever seen to LeBron almost asking out?
I understand your question. I don't understand the message from Rich Paul, and I suspect the Lakers don't understand it either. And the reason I suspect that is that the Lakers did not make a statement yesterday. When a player opts into his contract, it is traditional for the team to announce it, even if it's a player farther down the roster. Certainly when it's one of your franchise players, you would announce it. The Lakers made no announcement yesterday. And in fact, I had to check with teams in the league to make sure LeBron actually went through with the process of signing the paperwork to opt in. And he did. It's all official and everything. But because I wanted to see what the Lakers said about this. Because last year when LeBron signed a contract, the 9th contract of his career, the 3rd contract he signed with the Lakers, they put out a tremendous press release with a quote from Rob Pelinka. I counted the words, it was like 120 words. Yesterday, nothing. And I suspect it's because they're busy at work trying to add to their roster, but I suspect it's because they're trying to digest this situation too and try to understand how to respond to it because it is unusual. You guys are saying that LeBron and Rich like attention and this is what they've always done. I guess that's true. And by the way, teams are saying that same thing to me, like you guys are echoing what other teams are saying. This maneuver is different.
Đâu là giải pháp ngừa đột quỵ phù hợp? Natto enzyme DHA EPA chứa nattokinase Nhật Bản và dầu cá DHA EPA Thụy Sĩ giúp làm tan cục máu.
The way this contract situation is being handled has never been done by LeBron before. This statement alongside this move has never been. I've never seen anything like this before. I have to say to you, I don't know. And I talked to Rich, and I heard what he had to say, and I still don't 100% know what their plan is.
Wendy, but do the Lakers actually owe anybody a statement, to be honest with you? Last year was different. You know why? Because they didn't have Luka Doncic last year. LeBron James was still the face of that franchise. Now all of a sudden, your face of your franchise is Luka Doncic. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm not worried about a statement that came out from Rich Paul or LeBron James. Now, yes, I do want to do right by LeBron James, and I'm going to hear him out. But my focus is Luka Doncic and how he's feeling. Wendy, you alluded to it that Luka Doncic, they have to get him re-signed, right? It's no guarantee that he's going to re-sign with the Lakers. That's my first priority is seeing where Luka head is at and doing my job to make sure I go out and get the pieces that surround Luka. LeBron would fit in, but I need to make sure Luka is happy before LeBron. I don't expect the Lakers to drop a statement. I don't see why they should.
Well, the reason I'm wondering is because I want to hear how they respond to those comments, because I don't know how I would respond, and the fact that they haven't responded to me is telling. But you are correct, Perk. From the minute that they traded for Luka, while the whole NBA was picking themselves off the court, August 2nd was rushing at them because Luka has one guaranteed year left on his deal. He can opt out next year. You'd never, ever want to have your star player in his prime. In LeBron's case, he's in his 40s. It's a different situation. You never want to have your star player on the last year of his contract, ever, especially when you don't know what your roster is going to be. And they don't, guys. Right now, the Lakers have almost nobody under contract for next season, not even Luka. So you want to make sure that you have him locked in. And here's the reality that LeBron's decision yesterday and these comments have underscored. When Luka makes that decision in August, whether he makes it August 2nd or later on in the offseason, LeBron is not going to be part of that calculus. Going forward, the Lakers have to operate like LeBron James is only going to be there for one more season. Maybe that'll change. Maybe the Lakers will win 65 games this year. Maybe they'll win the championship. Maybe everything will be different. But as of today, based on this statement and these actions, Luka has got to consider the 2026 and beyond. LeBron's not going to be there. This contract will be 2026 and beyond. If he re-signs with the Lakers, it's because he believes in the brand and the new ownership and their maneuverability and their history and the draw of Southern California. It wouldn't be because he's going to want to be with LeBron. LeBron is not going to figure into this decision.
And you got to think that the Lakers knew something like this was going to come from LeBron, right? This is what he does. They've been with him for 8 seasons now. LeBron does this every offseason. He pushes you to try to be better and to make those moves. But what the Lakers now have is that the leverage of having Luka on the team, and they got to feel a little bit of relief right now, right? That they can see a message like this from LeBron and Rich Paul, and they can say, all right, that's fine, but we still have our franchise player, and we don't have to bend the knee to you for whatever you do. The Lakers are a proud franchise, a proud organization, and they have had to live with these years of saying LeBron gets to pick the coach, LeBron makes you draft his son, you do everything for LeBron, and now they can say we don't have to necessarily do that because we have Luka Doncic and we have to be beholden to a new superstar for the next decade.
And the reality is, for the first time in his life, he's probably not the best player on the team. So when you say it's the same playbook, it may be the same playbook, but those that he's playing with are different than they've ever been, really probably since before he was in high school. So free agency gets going 6 p.m. Eastern today. All the coverage here on ESPN and ESPN2. So elsewhere in the NBA, we saw a move that could definitely catch the Lakers' attention. Former #1 overall draft pick DeAndre Ayton is finalizing a contract buyout with the Blazers to become a free agent. Ayton is a 27-year-old center who was part of the Suns' finals run in 2021. You may have heard, Lakers are in the market for a center. David, is DeAndre Ayton the missing piece for LA?
No, he's not. They're not going to find a missing piece in free agency or these mid-level guys they get to, bolster their bench. DeAndre Ayton can help. The guys like the centers that they are looking for, they can help. The thing that's going to elevate the Lakers to a championship-level team is Luka Doncic being a top 3 to top 5 player in the league. Now, we saw the potential for what Luka Doncic could do with that team when he came in, but he was still hurt. He was still not in his best shape. They played their absolute best defensively for 3 months and then petered out. What they need is a full season, a full MVP-level Luka Doncic, because that's going to determine if they're a championship team or not. All of these guys in the margins are going to be great. He's going to have a lob threat. They can have people that can, where J.J. Redick's not playing the same 5 guys for a second half in an NBA playoff game. But what they need, and the only thing that's going to elevate them to championship level, is Luka Doncic starting in October, in shape, getting them off to the races as a real Western Conference contender.
Perk, DeAndre Ayton, the Lakers, make sense or no?
It does make sense, and I believe that is a Beyonce moment for us upgrading at the center position for what they had last year. But I will say this about DeAndre Ayton. The word around the league is not good about DeAndre Ayton. The Portland Trail Blazers were happy as hell that they got to this point with him. Right now, he's been labeled as a diva, as a cancer in the locker room. And if I'm DeAndre Ayton, I got to have a moment. I got to have someone speak the real to me, because we're talking about a former #1 pick that didn't work out with his team, that didn't work out with the Phoenix Suns, a team that drafted him #1. And now you get to the Portland Trail Blazers that were absolutely happy as hell to get him in the trade. They welcomed him with open arms. They thought he was going to be one of those guys for the future. And now you get to this point, right? And see, what happened is that when you have guys like DeAndre Ayton, you believe that things can happen to you. And I believe that he's one situation away. The next situation or next organization that he lands to,